This episode is brought to you by Bailey Rose Family Mortuary. We cost less because we care more. Bailey Rose is the leading funeral provider in the Fifth Ward Cashmere Gardens area. They have affordable prices and will offer a payment plan if needed. Bailey Rose is 15 minutes away from the medical center and has access to 200 different styles of caskets. Give them a call today at 713-842-781. That's 713-842-781. Bailey Rose Family Mortuary.
And now it's time for the main event.
In this corner, from Dallas, Texas, weighing in at 230 pounds, the Texas Terminator, also known as the purveyor of punishment. He is the big, strong fuck, Jay Alexander.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we are live in Houston, Texas right now at the Exception Podcast Studios, man. Hey, man. Mikey Manslaughter Facts in the building.
Hey, you already know my name, man. It's the Beige Bomber, the Petty Messiah, your boy Corey Jared in the building.
Once again, it's your boy Zello Smoke.
And always remember, don't watch me. Watch Dynamite TV. Guru Dynamite in the building. Let's get it.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, man.
Okay. I mean,
that was smooth like butter.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, man. Yeah, we try, man. We try.
My best, man. Appreciate that.
Jay Alexander, man. Big strong fuck. I like that. I do like that nickname. That's that. Next time I'm at the arena, that's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Absolutely. I don't want to disrespect the kids and everything, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna happen. So we're in that thing, man. But welcome to the show. And first off, we're just gonna start off, man. Just tell us about yourself, man. How'd you get started? Who's your inspirations for getting in the wrestling business, man?
Well, first and foremost, you're welcome. Let's just get that out the way, all right? Because I don't take out this glorified time for just anybody.
Absolutely, okay, absolutely. It's understandable. Appreciate it.
I'm just kidding, guys. No. So how I got started, man. Of course, I was a fan. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to be to really get your feet wet in this business. Some way, somehow. I know there's a lot of people that kind of just get thrown into it just out of the clear blue. But for me, I was a fan. I grew up primarily idolizing guys like RVD and Jeff Hardy to start. Just something about their characters, their colors, their aura, their moves. Of course, when you're a little kid, you like seeing all this crazy high
flying around.
Man. So that's what kind of got me introduced to it. As I got older, watching all the pay-per-views, man, and that's the thing with me, man. It's hard to pick my favorite wrestler. I can name those two. Those are the guys that got me started into wrestling. Earliest memories, of course, was Mankind getting thrown off Hell in a Cell. Oh, that's. I feel like that's a lot of people's introduction. I remember seeing that.
That's goated.
And then. Undertaker, of course, really stuck with me. But I loved everyone from Triple H to Cena to Stone Cold. And so it's hard for me to answer, who's your favorite? It's like, man, there's so many qualities from each individual performer that I can take from. Being a heel, Triple H is one of the best heels of all time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then you go into Edge and Randy Orton. You're talking 2013 Randy Orton.
Ballhead Randy was a
there's so much that goes into it, man. It's tough. It's truly tough. So that's kind of the origin just to start out. And then, lo and behold, Fantasy Camp rolls around in college and go to one of those and book, I guess, liked what he saw and offered me an opportunity to come back and train full time. So that's kind of where we got my start at.
Sweet. That's cool. Sweet. That's what's up. Yeah, Jeff Hardy and RVD, not too well, inside the ring, not too bad to get inspired by. Absolutely. I like that.
But speaking of inside the ring, I'll hit you with a name, and this is kind of taboo now, but Chris Benoit.
Oh, we said that
that's like every episode.
You say that now, and you're like, what'd you say?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Thou shalt not be named. No, Chris Benoit. I love just the. I get chills every time. I still play his entrance music. I get chills every time that starts.
Yeah.
And then
we try to separate the wrestling.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like you have to do it, because when you talk about the person, I mean,
Trash.
Yeah.
But as a performer and the aggression and everything he brought to the table,
Can't deny
second to none. Yeah, second to none. So that was another one that played really significantly into Jay Alexander as well. But
yeah, we said it every week, man. It sucks. So we can't just like give him. We can't give him like his credit for what he done in the business.
Yeah.
But you know, when everybody who comes on the show, everybody literally says that.
He brought a lot, man. He brought a lot, and it's a shame that obviously the circumstances but what we couldn't see more of inside the ring.
You couldn't deny his talent, man. He was one of my favorite four horsemen. I love the snap, the suplex he did. I loved it, man.
For me, man, it's so. And this is something that I've kind of grown to appreciate being in the business. I'm still relatively new, but I've been in it long enough to kind of learn a thing or two. And honestly, the moves were one thing, but it's Book is real big on like moments, and you hear that, and it's like, well, okay, like, but I need to get this XYZ, and I need to do this. This moonsault, or I need to get this, kick over or something. But then like when you really sit down and film study and digest it, it's like, man, like it's the snap suplex, and then it's the way he grits his teeth, when he walks in the crippler crossface, and it's just, he's just with everything.
The intensity going on with
it's the intensity. It's, it's when he shoots a half or something, or when he goes for a takedown, he pulls back and he's like,
everything.
You see the snarl. It's like, just the moments, man, that get captured in between the moves that really like make it.
You got to tell a story.
You got to realize that the camera, every angle of the camera is always watching. So you can be on this camera, and if you turn and shoot a poser or something like that, it's there, and that might be just a snapshot right there.
To backdoor off that, so kind of describe to us like the whole process, how you approach a match on a psychological level. They always talk about. You always want to get the crowd to react. You always want to keep them involved. So tell us, how do you really just take in getting those moments?
Oh, baby, I'm Jay Alexander. That comes naturally. Come on. And I wish I could say that. No, and really it does start, some days you wake up and you just feel good. Some days it feels effortless, and other days you wake up and, I go through my routine, and I do a bunch of, my routine from the minute I wake up just on a day-to-day basis is so in depth. I wake up and some days, and I'm feeling mentally a little bit foggy, feeling a little bit clouded. So whether those days, whether it's you wake up, mentally foggy or cloudy, and you kind of have to, work a little bit harder to get back on track, or, days that you wake up and maybe you actually feel effortless, you feel good. This is gonna be a good day. This is gonna be a good match. It kind of has to come back, to center either way, because it has to, you have to perform, right? How you game plan, how you obviously you do your research, you do your film study. This is your opponent. You have to know what you're getting into, what they do well, and how to, acclimate or counter. Paying, obviously respectful as well to what they offer and what they bring to the table. Some guys maybe don't do a whole lot, and so it's more character work. So how do you bring your half to that equation? Because at the end of the day, it's a dance. So if your partner is, two-stepping and you're, over there jigging, it's going to look real awkward. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know how to compliment, your partner, even if your style is a little different. And then maybe other guys, man, they throw the kitchen sink. I'm telling you right now, working, who's a good, working gas bar, right? Let's just say working gas bar. It's going to be two big men, medium men slapping meat. So it's going to be the moment is going to be maybe a big shoulder tackle, bang, and you bounce off one another, or maybe I bounce off him, or what have you, right? And then we're going to let that sink in, right? That's the moment. Whereas like maybe a Will Allday, which I'm telling you what, if you face Will Allday, you better get your cardio up, because you go over a 15-minute sequence, you're like, that's just the beginning. And you're like, all right, it's going to be different, getting it together. Stretching is first and foremost. I would always say, no matter what you're doing, make sure you're limber, make sure you're warm. Some guys, man, they go out there and they're like, man, how are they already soaked and drenched in sweat or water or whatever? They haven't even started wrestling. Trust me, they've been warming up. They're probably a little sweaty to start. So, man, it's just getting your head right, knowing what the task at hand is. In Book's two big rules, rule number 1 and 2 is know your time, right? Because you only have a certain amount of time, and tell a story.
Yeah.
Right. So know your time and tell that story. That's ultimately what it's about.
Well, speaking of Book, what is some of the advice that he has gave you that just really stuck with you?
Don't suck. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's funny. Book is very, his time is very limited, you know, obviously with the NXT thing, and he does so much. And I have so much respect for him because I don't know how many times I've seen him go about his week, and then he'll come into a show on Saturday late, like, you know, it'll be after my match or something. And, you know, I'll be going to the restroom or something, making my way behind the curtain, and I'll see him there, and we'll pass by, and, you know, I'll dap him up or something. And dude, his eyes are bloodshot red. Like he's probably gotten maybe
2
a day's worth, 2 hours of sleep in the week. But he's here at Reality Wrestling, making sure his show goes off without a hitch. And we'll be backstage, you know, some days are better than others. Some days he waits till the end of the show to come in and critique us as a whole, as the show. And other days, maybe he's just, you know, it's his time of the month, and he's in there and he's talking to and that's what you don't want to do. You really want to make sure you do your utmost best. You should be wanting to do your utmost best anyway. But if you had a bad match and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and Book was not happy, you're gonna hear it.
He gonna let you know.
But Book is very limited. And when he does say something, you kind of have to get to know him. And I've gone to, like, a shout out to Ryan Davidson. I've gone to a Ryan Davidson or a Mysterious Q or an Abel Andrew Jackson. Shout out to Abel Andrew Jackson, who was on the podcast just prior. I've gone to those guys, man, because they have some tenure and they know Book better than anybody. I'm just being like, what does this even mean? Because, for instance, it's little things. You're like, well, what does that even mean? He's just like, it's little things. What does that mean? Like, Abel, what does that mean? Like, yeah, and that was the thing is I can't, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I came in, and some people, when they get their start, it's you know, they're a newborn baby in the ring, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've been an athlete my entire life. I've been very fortunate, very blessed, very gifted from day one. So when I got in the ring, it was, you know, there was a learning curve, because wrestling's one of those things where, like, when you fall, you're supposed to catch yourself, right? Like, you don't want to hurt yourself. Well, in wrestling, don't catch yourself. Slam yourself as hard as you can on the mat. What? Like, it's a lot of contrary and contradictory things. But a lot of it was, I was just very natural at, with a few things tweaked here and there. So I never really had a whole lot of, like, one-on-one or anything, or if I had a question, it was, oh, kid, you're a star, so, you know, just worry about this. And I'm like, and it kind of, it's a double-edged sword when you kind of start someone out like that, because maybe their head gets big, or they think that they're the shits, you know, the shit. I'm sorry, the shits is bad. The shit is good. Yeah, if you're the shits with an S, you're bad. But if you're the shit, then you're good. So yeah, I gotta highlight that verbiage real fast. So if, you know, you think you're the shit, whatever, and, you know, your career is going to go the way it does. But for me, I was hypersensitive, because I'm like, now I know I'm on a pedestal, and I'm like, how's this going to work? You know? And so I was very nitpicky on how I went about it, because, you know, I would have a match or something, and, you know, but this kid said that he was going to be the biggest thing on the marquee, and this kid's only been wrestling for whatever, a couple months, and he's shitting on all y'all. And it's like, damn, Buck. Like, you got a whole bunch of vets in the back then. He said that about 2 or 3 times. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing something right. And then on the flip of a script, it's like, hey man, the match looked kind of slow. It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, you told me to slow it down. So I slowed it down. It's like, oh, well, this and that. And I'm like trying to figure it out. And I'm like, okay. And so then again, I go back to Ryan Davidson, or I go back to Abel, and I go back to Q, and I'm like, what does this mean? Like, cause I'm trying to follow it, and it's hard to, like, kind of decipher it. And Book is exactly the character that you see on TV. He is 100% authentically him.
I can believe it.
He's crazy.
I can believe it.
The only thing I can never say that I'm like, I got it, is know your playbook. Right. So as a heel specifically, you know, you can't beat the living hell out of the baby entirely, because then you as the fans are like, well, shoot, just put him down, just finish him. Like, why should we care about this? He's killing him, right? Just finish him. Whereas, like, if, you know, it's a back and forth, he's getting his stuff in, this, that, or the other. Maybe, me and Zello, right, or me and Mike are working or whatever, and you know, I give you something, boom, and then I pick you up and throw you to the corner. Well, as I'm going to throw you to the corner, I'm like, give me a boot, come eat the elbow, right? So whip you to the corner. I'm taking a moment. I'm gonna put him down. I'm gonna end him. Turn around, run. There's the boot. I'll sell back out. You know, gives Mike the chance to be like, I got him. Here you come. Elbow to the chest. You're back down. So as the crowd's watching that, the crowd's like, oh shoot, he's got some life. He got him. Get him. And then, damn. Come on, man. And then that would be like a simple hope, like maybe the first hope of the match, right? And then obviously we take it up from there, where, you know, I'm working you something here, down, here, there, you know, and I'm talking to you saying like, hey, after this one, block it, give me something. Boom. You give me something, set me down, go to the cover, crowd, you know, right as you set me down, crowd comes up, 1, 2, kick out. Oh, but you know, you get up, you're still hot. You come in, you know, I sell up to the corner, you're going to come run for maybe a splash. You jump at me, I grab you, you're a noggy, crowd goes right back down. You see what I'm saying? But see how, but right there, you're like,
you know, but you know what? Yeah. It's almost, and I used to not like this, but it's more I got older, the more I started watching and investing and stuff like that. The Brock Lesnar effect. Mm-hmm. How Brock can literally be destroying somebody, and then all of a sudden the babyface just comes out and gets a surge, and
he can sell his ass off.
After that, after he gets his good little 5 minutes in where
Brock shuts that down.
Brock shuts down. But that's getting you invested.
It's a story. It's a roller coaster ride. Like, and that's why you have guys like, you know, Brock, Roman, Seth, like just off the top, you know, Ray, you know, Edge, Randy, all these guys that are superstars know how to like gauge. And, you know, I'm still learning, you know, like there's some, you know, I might be more, you know, at my specific tenure might be a little bit more well ahead of certain guys, you know, or certain guys might be well ahead more of me. It's, you know, there's not really a comparison. You know, I feel like, you know, I've done every sport in the book, you know, I'm currently doing some bodybuilding as well. And it's like, it's easy to look at someone else and be like, man, like if only my shoulders were that big, or like my chest was a little bit thicker, you know, like it's easy to kind of compare, but at the end of the day, it's like knowing, hey, as long as I'm getting better and I'm better than the person I was yesterday, you know, that's what's most important, right?
Yeah,
and so ultimately, kind of to wrap up the question, I apologize, I ramble.
You're good, bro.
To wrap up the question, man, like I don't really get told a whole lot. I wish I got told more, but as Ryan Davidson, we had lunch the other day, and you know, I won't share the specifics of all of that, but he told me a really good story about if you that's something, I guess the story that he or exchange he had with Hardcore Holly, right? So Bob Holly, he was talking to Bob, and he had I guess a tag match with him, or maybe it was a singles, either one. And he said, hey, you know, what could I have done better, or what'd you think, or whatever? And you know, Bob said, oh, it was good. No, it was great. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's like, and I get it completely, because you get told that and you're like, all right, well, if I'm just the bee's knees, if I am just the shit, then where's my contract? Right. You get kind of fed up of just being told, hey man, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. You're like, then where's my contract? If I'm just awesome and I do nothing wrong, then why isn't AEW knocking down my door? Where's Impact? Where's WWE? And I was like, and this is an 18-year vet, like telling me I'm only, you know, 2.5, 3 years in, but I'm like, I get it. Cause I get little to no critiques from really anybody. And I'm just like, I go, you know, it's not good to go fishing for it. He's like, I take it like a day at a time, you know, and this is what I took from it is a good match doesn't make you, a bad match doesn't break you. Right. That wasn't in my words, how I took it.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to take
it. It's whatever you believe in ultimately, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whether it's Allah, whatever you say the most, you know, praise the most high is. I think if you truly fully like believe in yourself and manifest whatever your end goal is, your dream is, and what have you, if you truly believe in that, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Right. I mean, ultimately, and I'm huge on that. Yeah. I'm huge on that. So ultimately, aside from the little things and know your playbook, that's pretty much the only things that I've really ever gotten told, truthfully. I love it and I hate it. I love it and I hate it.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
So I started training in August of 2019. I remember COVID hitting and they were doing the drive-ins. My memory's a little rough. July, was it June? I want to say July of 2020.
COVID hit March 20.
So March, but we were doing drive-in shows outdoors.
Yeah.
With still masks and separation and such, but we wanted to keep the fans. We wanted to keep us doing something, keep, you know, some sort of getting us paid somehow, some way. Cause a lot of people, you know, either got, you know, let go from their jobs or you weren't doing a lot in office. So, you know, it was a real touchy time. Yeah. But they were still trying to get us paid and, you know, get us film and entertain and whatever through this dismal time in history. So we were doing the drive-in shows, and I remember, so I think it was July of 2020. So I think I'd been training August. So 10 months, 11 months.
Yeah.
And then I debuted July of 2020 as part of the Renegades. I came in and helped, Dex and I think Warren beat Will and Zach Will Alday and Zach Mason. Yeah, and then that was kind of my introduction. And Book and Brad were doing the commentary from Book's RV.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so it was right there facing the ring, and so that was my introduction. I think the next month, hold on, July. Never mind. So that was like July something. I think I debuted in September, late August, September, around that time. August, September, I don't remember. My first match was a 15-minute main event for the Texas title against Will Alday.
So I know where you're at right now. You're in that point to where like you're kind of putting together a body of work. Mm-hmm. And when you ask why you haven't got AEW or why you haven't got WWE, it's probably because they're still formulating like actual, you know how you go and you get game footage and stuff like that on a team or something like that. That's where you're at.
Yeah. And I can agree. I try not to look at the schematics. I try and just stay as humble and as modest as I possibly can be. And the one thing I will say without a shred of doubt to a like, what's the word I'm looking for? To a, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm cocky when it comes to my work ethic.
Arrogant.
Okay. I'm saying, what's when you're something to a,
confident,
I can't formulate the word. Oh my gosh. I can't think of the word. No, I will say I'm cocky about my work ethic.
But you have to.
Because there's a match in Japan I saw where these two guys they had just put on this crazy banger. And one of them, the young Buck, was facing, I think, his mentor, and I can't remember the names, but the young guy was like, "Oh, I'm willing to die for this," and the older guy, the vet, was like, "Don't you ever say that you're willing to die for this. We're just here to entertain." Like, and I was like, "Nah, screw that. Like, I want to be the best form of myself, in every facet, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Being an athlete, I mean, I think y'all have been an athlete at some point in your life. But to be, maybe not being an athlete, but like there's something in your life that you're passionate about, right? And you invest in it to the fullest, right? Because you're trying to put forth the absolute best that you possibly can. I've been an athlete in every possible sport like ever created, from like freaking horseback riding. Yes, I've rode horses competitively, right? To tennis, to golf, which is asinine, but it's true, right? To football was my first love.
Yeah, that was my first love.
And I took a hit and I signed an indoor arena pro contract at 19 years old and took a hit and lost 15 minutes of memory. I lived and would have died for that sport. But at 19 years old, I said, you know what?
Say 15 minutes.
I'm not going to die. Yeah, it was 15 minutes. I remember specifically, I played pretty much every sport, but at the time I was primarily running back and like F-back slot, right? Yeah. And I also played some Mac Jack at the time, which is basically a free safety, strong side. Free safety, like strong side linebacker hybrid position, which I loved. I remember the third just ended and I'm going back to like our little dugout space in the arena. I remember like the scoreboard is right above and I'm running, I'm looking up. All right, we're down 4 we're up by like 4, I think, or something, like 4 points. I think we were up by 4. We go back in the dugout, coach goes, John, I was on kick return. So the kick return, got the ball, took the hit. I was blocking I was on the second line. So third line caught it, blocked the second line, hit. And when I hit, I felt like I was out of my body. Like I literally felt like if Mike was me, I felt like I was like,
like Doctor Strange. You see Doctor,
Chris Tucker on Friday. He got knocked the fuck out. But I was watching myself like standing there, and I was like, God damn, all right. So I remember jogging back to the dugout, looking up. All right, end of the third, start of the fourth, 15, cool. Go in, and coach is like, what are you doing? Like, you're a running back. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. So I jogged to the side, jumped over the barricade. I kid you not, leaned in the huddle. I blinked. I'm back in the dugout. Game's over. Field's empty. And I'm like looking around, and everyone is changed. There's like maybe 1 or 2 guys that have been changed and they're leaving. I'm like, dang. So maybe it was more than 15 minutes. It had to have been like closer to 20. But the point is, like, I invested everything right into this. And that's what I mean when people say, oh, like, chill, Jay, chill. Like, nah, I don't waste my time and my efforts and the amount of money that I put forth, like,
to half-ass it now.
in everything, in fees and merch and travel expenses and supplements and food. Oh man, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Yes, I'm willing to die to be successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, you gotta have that.
You definitely gotta have that.
Totally different level of dedication right there.
So, and that's one thing I will say. Like, I try and stay as humble and as modest as physically possible. But if it comes to anything, like if someone dares to try me, I will go nose to nose with them so close that we could damn near kiss, and I say, "You want to die for this shit? Because I will." And you take one glance in my eyes, be like, "You know what? You got this.
You got it. You got it,
Yeah,
champ.
that's one thing you won't
champ.
try me on. Yes, I mean that with every fiber of my being.
So to switch gears, man, it's some guys that you face that I want to ask you about, man.
Please.
First, let's talk about Khan.
Oh, dude, he looks like a monster, and he's every bit of thick as he looks. Yes, some guys look, and we're going over the match or something, and it's like, "Oh, you sure you can get me?" Like, "No, I got you. Trust me, I'll pick you up. I'm strong as hell." People don't realize just how strong I am. I went for a power slam, and I went to scoop. I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." I had to go for a second. Yeah, dude, went to pick him up. I was like, "God damn!" You thought I picked him up. I was like, and I was coming back. I'm like, "Damn, son, you are fucking thick." That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Yeah, he's got the muscles, and it's there. He's got all that weight. Yeah, man, Khan's he's in AEW for a reason, man. He's a monster. He's a beast. He brings it. When we faced, I was the heel and he was the baby, and that was something that they were kind of trying out. Book was real nitpicky on Khan, particularly in that match, because I pretty much know the gist of what I'm doing, as a heel. And him being a baby was something kind of relatively new to him, and so there were times where I was hoping that he would. I gave him kind of a chance to sell around, and he was still kind of in a spot because he's not used to really selling all that much. He's used to being the one beating someone down, and I always said, man, if I can get him back, right, that match again, reverse, and him be in his bag as heel and me be as the baby, I was like, we could really tear it down, because I've dabbled in both, more so baby lately, and got real comfortable being baby, and it only helps being heel and vice versa. So I really wish we could have gotten that match back, and we almost did at Palais Pro, which is my second home now. If y'all haven't seen Palais Pro, I would highly suggest you check it out. I know they're primarily on Title Match Network, but they run some of the best shows. They're bi-monthly. And Stallion Rogers, they just had Hammerstone.
Alex Hammerstone.
Yeah, dude. They have Alex Zane, TJP. They'll bring in Shane Taylor's become a regular.
Yeah, I like Shane Taylor.
I faced Shane Taylor at Palais Pro.
How was that?
That was fun. He was honestly my favorite guy probably to work that I've ever worked thus far. One of the most giving and most when you think of like a professional wrestler, like from a psychology and just everything as a whole, Shane Taylor is it. I got nothing but great. I have nothing but great things to say about everybody that I've been in the business with. Truthfully, I've been very fortunate, very blessed to be surrounded, by a lot of very amazing talents, and I don't mean that from like just a talent aspect, but just people. They're great people. Shane is this just larger than life, just hard hitting monster.
Yeah.
But man, to see them, one of the most, they had on the sheet or something, they wanted to get me over, because of course I'm the baby, so like they want to establish me, like, oh, get him one good slam. And Shane looks at the paper, he looks at me, he goes, nah. So I got him not one but two big slams. He let me TKO him, right, and then power slam him. And yes, I don't know if you saw that clip on Wrestling with Unicorns. I actually walked him out and power slammed him on my shoulder. Yeah,
that's a big boy. That's a big boy.
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I tell people, I'm like, I'm strong. People don't realize
big strong fuck.
How strong.
Big strong fuck.
There was a
big strong fuck. Big strong fuck. You gonna hear that a lot?
Oh, please, I live for it. I was so disappointed. I had a match with Q, just as a sidebar, and love Q to death. Great, one of my go-to for everything. He's just a wealth of knowledge, but he's a great dude as well. I had a match with Q at Palais Pro, and this is a little bit of an awkward match just because we're both babies there, and like we are kind of trying to figure out how we're going to tell the story based off what we're being asked to on the sheet. And so I was like, man, how do we, because I really want to get like, I usually have one like crazy feat of strength that I do, right? And so Q's like, what if he goes, what if we do this? What if I go here, boom, hit you with that, and then I go do my handstand gimmick, And then you come back, you catch me on your shoulders, right? And then gorilla press me up, and Q's a big boy.
Yeah,
right?
humongous.
Gorilla press me up, pancake flip me, catch me. I did a pancake, like a pancake pop up to Stephen Wolf. So what if you do something like that where you catch me, gorilla press me up, pancake flip me, catch me, power slam. Ooh. And so we practiced it right here, catch up. I was like, all right, we're not going to really go through it because I don't want all that weight coming down on me, right? I want to. It has to be in the moment. So he's like, all right, so as long as you can gorilla press me up, we're good. We never did it. I was so disappointed. We got like 3/4 of the match, and the ref's like, go home. And but it was tough because, and this is what like frustrates me about refs. I love people don't understand like how valuable a good ref is, truthfully. And so the ref's literally like if this is my ear, he's like, go home. And I'm like looking around like.
Did I just hear that?
So I'm like, give Q something. I'm like, I'll grab him. Like, did you hear him say go home? He's like, no, just keep going. I'm like, all right, so we're working. Ref goes by again. Go home.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, Q, I swear he said go home. He's like, I didn't hear him. Keep going. I'm like, I was like, Q, you're the vet, so we're gonna do this. So I'm beating him. Finally, I set him down, cover out. And me and Q are like we're like this close, and I'm coming up like this, whatever. And the ref goes, I really need y'all to go home. And I go, thank you. So I'm like, I'm like grabbing him by the mask. I'm like, Q, what do you want? He's like, just go to the go home. I was like, all right. I was like the fat, and I don't know if you have to go back. Like I said, Title Match Network. I think it was Judges, me versus Q. I'm pretty sure it was Judges. And you'll see that where like I'm right here like on one knee and Q's like selling up and the ref comes in between us and he's like, checking on us, whatever.
I gotta check that out.
Anyhow, I apologize. Some guys that you wanted. So Khan, spectacular. He's, AEW for a reason. I would love to run it back with him in his bag as heel and me as baby, because I feel like we have a banger match. Match was good, could have been better as it was, but love to run it back with Khan. So hey, and you know what? I'll see you again. You bet that ass.
Yeah.
Receipts.
Also, you went against Rodney Mack. How was that?
Rodney Mack it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Rodney Mack is the red dog. Rodney Mack is a trainer. He's a leader. I knew. With respect, he's an older guy.
Yeah.
So I knew we weren't going to be doing moonsaults and, crazy stuff. So it was just tough because Rodney is so soft-spoken. And I knew he's, an older guy. So we're going to have the sequences we know that are pre-planned that we know that we can call or like the go home. When you say go home, like every match, like that's the number one thing that and will hit undoubtedly, right? Without a mistake. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff where just call it in the ring. Yeah. And I knew there was going to be a lot of call it in the ring with Rodney. But he's so soft spoken. There were a couple hiccups because I couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm learning better too, where like maybe if, I'm leaning on the rope or something and he comes over and, he pops me or something and calls something and goes to shoot me off, I'll hold on.
Yeah.
Right. And, I'll bring him back in. What was that? Goes for it again. Maybe I didn't hear him again, or maybe I heard back body, but I didn't hear this,
it was next.
That's something that I'm actively learning. So match could have been better. But I put that on me. I couldn't hear him. But I also do that to a fault. That's what I was looking for earlier. Okay. I do that to a detriment. I get so invested in the match at times that I'm like, shoot, I gotta be thinking, but then there's other times where I gotta be thinking, or I'm thinking and I don't get invested in the match and I look robotic. Yeah. So that's the beauty of what we do, is trying to find that middle ground. And so there was a lot of that in the match with Rodney where I'm listening and I'm like, I can't hear this dude.
Yeah.
And so a few hiccups, but nothing but respect, nothing but love. We got over what we needed to. Everyone, and that's the thing is, ultimately, was the story told and was the mission accomplished? Yes. All right. Was everybody safe? Yes. All right. Yeah. We'll get it back. People are when you think of moments, like if I ask you right now, like what happened in that Sharmell versus Booker match, right? You're not going to tell me every single sequence that happened, but you're going to say, oh, but man, Gino hit him with the scarlet letter and then Will knocked him out with the autograph and they both pinned him. That's the moment, right? Like there's certain moments that you're going to remember. But if I ask you what happened in the whole match, you're not going to be able to list, everything. Blake Cortez went here and Stephen Wolf hit this. And if you can do that, man, I need to trade brains with you and you can I can use that memory when I'm in my matches, but you're gonna remember the moments, right? So that's ultimately what matters most when it comes to these matches. Was the story told? Were the moments created that people will remember? Was everybody safe?
So we're about to spice it up for a minute, man. We're gonna hit you with the speed round, man.
I love it. Spice it up. Let's get it.
All right, cool, man. So, all right, so first one we got here. Your greatest wrestler of all time. I think we answered that, but we'll see it again.
The greatest wrestler of all time. Just for the sake of just pro wrestling, Undertaker.
Okay. I think that's the first one we got here.
But I mean, if you're talking like wrestler, that's tough, man. Because when you talk about Brett and Dean Malenko, and I mean, if you want to get in the world of sport with Johnny Saint, I mean, if you want to talk about grapplers, man, that's gonna take a minute. If you just overall character, in-ring performance, man, I don't think anybody really tops Taker.
Taker. Okay.
That's right. Worst wrestler of all time.
Jay Alexander. No, I'm kidding. Let's swap that. Jay Alexander's best wrestler of all time. No, worst wrestler of all time. Oh, that's hard, man. Shoot.
I know it's a touchy.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say.
Yeah, we got
another performer, but it's
you could have said Brooklyn Brawler.
I don't really Lex Luger time.
Jesus Christ.
There's a few. I mean, without saying any names, there's a few people where I'm like, man, how the hell do they have contracts? But I don't know.
Braun Strowman.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Braun Strowman.
Oh my God.
Braun Strowman.
I almost faced him. Do you know that?
Yeah,
I almost faced him. Yeah, it was. I mean, we can go into that if y'all want. But to answer the speed round, dude, can I pass? I'm sorry.
You're good.
I don't know the worst wrestler. Yeah.
So I think we got the answer for your favorite male wrestler of all time, which is Undertaker. But currently,
man, So oh man.
You can be biased.
Y'all are really making me think.
You say
So my favorite wrestler. You said the greatest wrestler of all time is Undertaker. My favorite wrestler of all time, I would say, is Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
Currently.
You can put you can put yourself in.
All right, Jay Alexander.
There we go.
I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I'm the fastest. I'm the strongest. I'm the smartest. Yeah.
The best there was. The best there will be.
Yeah, to beat
who's Bret Hart?
Beat the man.
Honestly, Brian Cage is probably one of my favorite guys right now, just because really him and Hammerstone are two that I take a lot of stuff from.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But Cage is a guy that you look at, it's big beefy man, and then he does a 619 or
cruiserweight moves. Right.
Yeah, he's on the top of my list of guys I want to face. Let me get a little bit bigger and to where I can kind of match him. He's got like 10 years on me, so I don't know if that'll ever happen. But should I ever get the chance and beef up myself, I think that'll be a falsy till the day we die match where it's just like big move after big move after, I'll hit a whisper in the wind. He'll hit a standing moonsault. I'll hit a 619. He'll hit a 619.
Right.
I'll press him and throw him across the ring. He'll press me and throw me.
High flower moves.
Dude, we both can do those. Anyhow, let's keep it going.
No, you good. Favorite female wrestler currently?
Oh, that's a tie. Bianca Belair and or Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
I think both of them are superstars.
Sweet.
Undeniably.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with either one. Can't go wrong.
No, I love both of them.
All time.
All time female?
Yeah.
All time female. That's hard too, man. I was really big on, of course, I mean, for me, it's 50-50 Trish and Lita. But I would throw probably Beth Phoenix in there.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Slept on Beth Phoenix, man.
I wish China's on the tip of my tongue, but I wish she did China's on the tip of my tongue. Goodness gracious, can't talk.
Right.
I wish he would have done a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is. That was kind of a travesty how everything went down with that. But China's in the equation, but I'm probably 33.3 Trish, 33.3 Lita, 33.3 Beth Phoenix.
Okay. Steiner math. Absolutely. So favorite tag team?
Oh man, Hardys. Come on now. Dudley boys are up there too, but Hardys. I'm a Hardy boy through and through.
Gotcha. Heel or face?
Ooh, so you sell a lot more merch and people love to get behind the good guy, but man, it just feels so good to be bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Completely.
There's just nothing better than just some little, you know, I don't know if y'all saw that clip where the kid was that was when I actually faced for the APW title in that last man standing match, and I was whipping Apex with his own belt, and the kids were talking mad mess to me, and I was like, "Oh, you want some? You want some too?" You know, I hit him with that. What? I'm like, yeah. And this grandma behind him was like flipping me off, like. Yeah. And I'm like, not even on your best day, Grandma. Not even on your best day.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just there's just something so much better when someone's just like leaning over. You know, dude, I had a. So I was actually, just sidebar, I was actually a baby, but like the heel in me came out. I was facing T-Ray in Waco, and non-title match, which it should have been. I need all the titles, but no, non-title match, and he had this bit where he wanted me to give him a back body onto the picnic table in front of his mom. I was like, okay, cool, we can do that. So I did it, and the heel in me came out. I was supposed to be the baby, and I don't know, it's just hardwired. So I grabbed him, I had him by his head, and I was like, come on, mama, give your baby a kiss. Come on. She swung on me. She swung at me. Like legit. And I don't know, I've gotten in a couple fights in my life, a lot of, and this isn't a brag or nothing, but people don't try and test me generally. And so she swung on me, and it just right here, I weaved the mess out of that. And I should give her right. Gave her a wink and a kiss.
No, she was hot.
I walked back and I was like, what'd I say? I was like, since your mama don't want to kiss you, I will, right? Gave him a big club. He took it, turned around, swung on me. I ducked it the same way. I was like, man, you hitch like your mama. And he asked me, he goes, what happened to the crowd after the match? He's like, what happened to the crowd, man? Why were they cheering? Because he's the heel. He's like, why were they cheering me? Or why were they cheering me? And I was like, because I'm a dumbass. That's right. You were supposed to be the one getting booed, and I turned that around. So that's on me. So anyway, yeah, it's just so good being bad.
Oh yeah, I like.
When you're so good at it.
Well, it's natural. It's a natural. When it comes natural, it works. Absolutely.
Can't fault that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the bonus part of the speed round, I'm gonna throw out some moves, and I want you to tell me the first wrestler to come to mind.
I like it.
All right. Start off with this. Okay. Spine buster.
Ooh, I say Batista.
Okay. DDT.
Moxley.
Flying elbow drop.
Sean. Mr. Showstopper.
Okay.
Yes.
I know people probably think Macho Man, but I was a Sean. I was a DX.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, no one. I'm revising. I'm Hardy Boy DX. 50-50 Hardy Boy.
Okay.
But Sean, yeah.
All right. Super kick.
Sean.
Okay. All right.
Screw the Young Bucks. I hate. Hey, I might see him, and I can't stand them right now.
Yeah, man.
Maybe respect if I ever get to AEW, but yeah. Right now.
Absolutely.
Power slam.
Which one?
Okay. Well, running power slam.
Oh man, probably Braun.
Okay.
He's the one that kind of made it mainstream, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Running. I've never seen many people.
The British Bulldog.
Davey.
I'll give you Davey. I'll give you Davey, but you got to think like I was a '90s baby, so growing up, I never really saw a lot of people doing a lot of power slams like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to just give me the other one, I'll say Randy.
Okay. Yeah. I like that one.
If you give me the scoop one, the snap. If you want to do the snap, I'll give you Randy. But running power slam, the only one that I saw really start like really do it was Braun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neck breaker.
Oh man, I don't really know very many that do them.
Triple H had a good one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Rick Rude had a nice neck breaker, the Rude Awakening. But
it's just one of those like I don't know, like one that like really catches you.
I feel washed now.
That's tough.
I feel old now, man. Jeez.
I know a few things, but yeah, I'm still young, baby. I'm
I'm
still
gonna
young.
hit you with a couple submissions, okay?
Okay.
All right, Texas Cloverleaf.
Shoot, you're gonna make me feel young again. I say the only one that I've ever really seen. Well, no, because you're talking.
The clover.
Yeah, Cloverleaf. The Cloverleaf, you know.
Shoot, the only one that I've seen do it. Y'all don't make fun of me. I would say is probably Rhea. There's a variation of it.
She has
a variation of it.
Yeah.
I thought you would have said like Dean Malenko because that was his finisher.
Okay.
I think Lance Storm. I think he did it.
Yeah.
Lance had the Canadian Maple Leaf.
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
Crash.
same,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You're right.
Crossface.
Yeah, I can tell you crossfade. You know exactly where I'm going with that one.
We know where that one's going.
Miz, no, I'm kidding.
Okay. Let's try Brainbuster.
Shoot, man.
It's a lot
Will
of
all day. No, I'm just kidding.
Sheesh, that was a brain. I didn't even think of.
Yeah, I don't know. See, and that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like.
Brain buster.
I don't know anyone
Austin
that
Aries.
drops some.
I like
See, I'm not a big Austin Aries
You like
guy.
who?
Ishis.
Ishii.
Yeah, Ishii.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big Austin Aries.
Yeah.
guy.
A lot of people are not.
A lot of people are not.
See, you're not the only one, big dog. It's
Yeah.
it's cool.
Let me see.
High flyer. Okay. Shooting star.
Oh shoot! You know what? I'm gonna go independent for this one.
Okay.
Chandler Hopkins. If y'all have never seen a Chandler Hopkins shooting star, AQA had a good one, but I'll tell you what.
She does have a good one.
Shout out to Chandler Hopkins for his shooting star. I'll take Chandler Hopkins shooting star over anyone signed. Real talk. And honestly, Chandler Hopkins is one of those, and there's a good few people that I'll put over as a travesty to professional wrestling if they're not somewhere, especially like him when he's been on AEW Dark. I've had one opportunity for AEW and I didn't get my blood test in on time because I didn't have a primary physician. So coming to Houston, I neglected a lot of things, which is getting a primary health physician.
Yeah.
And so no one would touch with a needle without getting a doctor's.
Yeah.
And by the time I found one, it was too late. So I messaged Sean and told him to keep me on the list on standby.
Yeah.
He said he got me. And then, anyway, I don't, we can go down WWE, AEW. I've had 5 WWE chances, but they want people that are vaccinated and I'm not vaccinated. So I haven't gotten a chance to do WWE either. So
Question: do you kind of regret that? Or
No.
Don't regret. Okay.
I am to each their own. I just feel like, it's one of those things where, if you're vaccinated, you live by that. I'm triple boosted. And I'm like, hey, more power to you. That's your decision as a living, breathing adult. I'm not going to criticize you. Please don't criticize me. That's all I ask is that mutual respect. And that I just firmly believe that I trusted my immune system and that's the way I went about it. And it is kind of crappy if I'm being honest. I mean, I get it. Teach company their own, but I'm not close with, but he texted me. So I think that's something, asking if I can be in Dallas for Raw. And I'm like, okay, well, what are the details? Okay. Call time's at 1, American Airlines Center, I must be fully vaccinated. I'm like, Ken, you're killing me, dude. I'm like, what's like, can I not provide a negative PCR test or what? And he's just like, nah, man. He's like, sign talent can provide a negative PCR test, but anyone we bring in for extra work has to be vaccinated. And I'm like, well, then where's my contract, Ken? I got plenty of tape for you guys to review, man. And I'm still new. I'm not one of these crabby 10-year vets that doesn't want to, because that's also, I guess, the thing too, is that, they're touchy on signing independent talent because a lot of guys are set in their ways. I'm like, man, I'm 3 years in, man. I'll do whatever y'all want me to do.
All right, I got 2 more for you.
Yeah.
Clothesline.
Oh shoot, that's also I love a good clothesline, man. Ooh.
Yeah,
dude, you wanna talk about a friggin' headache? There's the clothesline from hell. Zach Mason started throwing that too, and I'm like, God, screw you. Oh man, take your head off, man. I'll tell you what, man. I throw a mean clothesline.
Okay. Okay.
I like the big, just like you know what? I'm gonna go with JBL because like when I think of a clothesline, I've seen some crappy ones where it's it's all arm, but I want the ones where like they just lay into you.
And JBL
You just
had
eat
that
it.
one.
Yeah, so I'll give you JBL. I had a few in mind, but I'm like, man, nothing. They were good, but like none of them that just like. I want to
folded boys.
Yeah, JBL was good. Man.
He hit you.
JBL's
You
good,
getting
man.
hit.
I like that.
Texas.
Appreciate the layup, baby.
That was my boy.
Yeah, it was Jay Sims.
All right, then the last one I'm gonna hit you with pile driver.
Pile driver. I mean, you take her, right? No, you can't
Well,
go.
okay,
sit down
like
pile
the
driver.
sit down pile driver.
Man, the only one that I ever saw that ever really was Owen, and I mean, no disrespect, but I wouldn't trust Owen with a sit down.
I will. Yeah.
You know who? You know
rest in
what?
peace,
I'm gonna go
Owen,
independent. No, this isn't independent because he was signed. I'll give you Shane.
Okay.
Shane, when I faced Shane, he's like, you ever taken it? I'm like, dude, I'm scared shitless. Cause like you talking about pile drivers, man, like you're ramming, you talking anything head going straight down. I'm like, oh, he's like, you're not even gonna feel it. I'm like, all right. He's like, you want to practice? I'm like, no,
let's just do it.
if I'm gonna get paralyzed, man, let's just do it in front of the crowd. Like,
the crowd have the trauma.
and I'll tell you
Let
what,
the crowd have the trauma.
Shane hit me with the sit down, man. I was not mad at all. I was not mad at all.
Let
So.
the crowd have that trauma of me going limp.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like it. I like that way of thinking.
I got another question for you. Who have you had the best chemistry with?
Oh shoot, that's a good one. I've had some good matches, man, with some guys, man. That's in honor of the episode that's about to drop with La Familia. I guess by the time this comes out, it'll have already dropped. But Diego de la Cruz, man, I had a really good match.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was gonna ask you about him.
Yeah, but he's smooth as butter too, man. Really, really good guy. Really giving. Really clean work. Really clean worker. Man, I'd like to think I got good chemistry with most guys. Honestly, probably one of my favorite guys to work just all around is probably Zane Valero from Lions Pride Sports.
Yeah,
Zane he's only like 19, I think.
Y'all had some good battles too, man.
He is
2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, that 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah,
He's clean, man. He's a really young dude, but man, he's got a really bright future. He's the full package as far as like wrestling. He can wrestle his ass off. But he's got the character to go with it. And it's funny because for being so young, man, some of his character work, some of the things he says and does, most adults, it goes right over their head. It's hysterical because like he'll say or do something and like, what was it? Some old head or whatever. He put, I think it was like a shirt idea or something. He put like Zilf or something on it. And like some old head, it completely went over. Like some tried to say something about Zane. Zane like told him something. He's like, oh, okay. And it's like right over his head. It's like, oh God. But for 19 years old, man, the fact that he has that like motor, man, he's awesome. You want to see some good work from Zane. That battle royal, we did like this big battle royal at Lions Pride, to set him up for his championship eventually. I think just prior to, it was around that 2 or 3 falls match. And I was working his left arm and he the entire match, some odd 30, 40 minutes, because he came in first and I came in essentially second. And then we went through everyone and then it got down to me and him for the finish, to tell that story. And that entire match from start to finish, he's hugging his arm. I mean, I can't say that, I'm not saying I couldn't or couldn't, but yeah, you just get so wound up in the match and maybe you do something, you're like, yeah. And then it hits you like, oh crap, my arm. And you're like, and then it's like, oh, it's kind of corny.
Yeah.
But like Zane, I remember, it was something as simple as like, we were doing something, he goes to shoot someone off or whatever. And he usually, it's the left arm that you shoot off with. And the entire time he went to shoot him off with his right arm. And I'm like, the fact that he had that ingrained in his head the entire match, it's very little minute thing. But now that I'm saying it, if you go back and watch it, you're like, wow.
No, those are the
that's brilliant working. And then even after he won and he's holding, because we're on the outside, and I really wanted to tell the story of like when we first faced each other, one of the very first matches we had, I treated him like dirt, right? He came up, I smacked the piss out of him. And so I'm like, instead of hitting me with a move, right, to knock me off the apron, let me slip on a banana peel, I'll eat the pole, turn around, be all loopy. You could easily hit me with a super kick or do something big to finish me. Just slap the piss out of me.
Yeah, I saw that. He slapped you and you fell off.
I wish he would have slapped me a little bit better. He kind of did this. I wanted him to like
lay into
just clean my clock. Slap could have been better, but overall, man, like the kid's a monster. He's a beast, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him. And so, chemistry wise, he's up there. I've had a lot of good matches with a lot of guys. I really enjoyed Shane Taylor. Is probably number one all around for matches, just in general, because phenomenal worker, very giving, super awesome guy. But Zane's up there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that before I continue to ramble.
Okay.
So timing wise, we good, or what we looking like, guys?
We got 3 minutes.
Oh, let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen, man. Talk about this belt right here. You want to raise it up for him, man? Let them see that, man.
Hey, legacy champ.
Yeah. There we go.
2 belts.
There we go.
2 belts, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay 2 belts.
Hey, you know, he got an amazing story about this belt right here, man. So, you know,
yeah, go ahead and show him. Go ahead and show him.
Go ahead and tell him how. Hey, man, this is a beast right here, man.
Oh man, so let me do this first. Let me give my ode to. Let's do this. Let's break it up. So I'll start real quick. I got this one first right here, man. This is my second belt that I've won. It's my 3rd belt that I've come in contact with total. My very first belt that I ever got to touch and take with me was the Lions Pride Sports Championship, but I'd never fairly won it. It was a gimmick, where I essentially stole it and paraded around the state doing my other bookings. I'm the Lions Pride Sports Champion. And I will still to this day say that I made that title more relevant than any one of the Lions Pride Sports guys ever has or ever will with that belt, with the exception of the earlier champs, Moonshine, Lance, Murderhawk.
Yeah,
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. Brain farted the last name. God, I'm hoping don't choke slam me, big guy, please. But yeah, those guys, man, with the exception of those guys, those are studs, those are stars. I made that title for the length of the time that I had it, maybe like a month.
Yeah.
I showcased the hell out of it. Anyhow, my second title, I guess, that I acquired was my Reality Wrestling Texas title. And that was one that really hurt because I really wish I could have held on to that longer, but the booking was what it was. So this is the title that I won, that I came in contact with, the 3rd that I've acquired, but the 2nd that I've officially won myself. Shout out to Dan Martinez at Laredo Wrestling Alliance. Dude's been a huge believer in Jay Alexander and everything that I've brought to the table since day one, really, that I met him. He retired, I guess, his heavyweight championship for the brand with Daga, and then created the legacy belt and said, what better name than for a legacy belt than Jay Alexander to embody it. So I've done everything in my power to establish the greatest legacy that I can with the legacy belt. And he's kept it on me since. I actually acquired it beating Vinny Pacifico at WrestleMania weekend. And then I faced Rodney. I faced Alex Arsenal. Who else have I faced for? I think that might have, no. Who else have I faced for it? I'm drawing blanks.
You whoop so many people.
Dude,
I've been a champ so long, man.
It's a mess out of a lot of
so
people.
So many people have come up to the king, and they miss, man. It happens. It happens.
Nah, man. It's been a good ride, and I appreciate more so than anything, like being a champion, man. It's more so just like the faith and the belief in me from these promoters and these bookers, man. That's what means the most to me. So I try and put forward the best work that I can and elevate the championship. Hopefully I'm hoping that I can get signed with it and that he'll let me keep it. So if not, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the LWA Legacy Championship. I will be defending it actually against T-Ray, December 4th at Legacy 12. So if you're in Laredo or the surrounding South Texas area, definitely check that out. Follow and like and subscribe and look for Laredo Wrestling Alliance as well.
And
they have some great guys on their roster and put on some great shows.
And still, that's all I'm gonna say.
And still, it's going to be forever. And still. So this one is actually one of my favorite belts. It's actually a very pretty belt.
Yes, it is.
It's seen better days. They are getting a new one, so I will be rocking the new one, and I'm hoping that I can retire this belt and keep it as well. So I'm talking to the promoter about that. I'm like, let me just hold on to it. They want it back, but I'm like, I don't know. Man. Especially if I'm the one to retire it. But they are getting a new belt. This is Advanced Pro Wrestling. This is in Alvarado and Cleburne predominantly. Man, I'm undefeated at APW.
That's
I'm undefeated at LWA as well. But APW, man, I've came in and cleaned house.
Yes.
At Laredo, it's been, I'm a heel, but it's been clean cut, just one-on-ones. But APW, I've gone in there and just thrashed and destroyed everybody and anything. And they've really given me a lot of freedom to do pretty much whatever I wanted. I actually won this against Apex. Had about 4 different one-on-ones with him across several different promotions. And it culminated up until the last man standing match at Final Hour, I believe was the show name, and beat the tar out of him. And God, I got the snot beat out of me too, literally, and ended up acquiring this one. So
Who's left standing?
yeah, that's why I'm missing the plate. That's why I'm missing the plate, man. I did a Seth Rollins curb stomp, man, and the plate flew off. So promoter has it, but I don't know if I get to keep it. I hope they'll reattach it. But
if not, then
What's
you got
stronger, your foot or his face?
Right.
my foot.
Hey man, before we wrap it up, man, we want to say thank you for coming out to the
Thank
show.
you very much, man. Appreciate you. Yeah.
We're gonna give him one good chant before we leave.
Big strong fuck. 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 Yeah. 2 Bills J. Absolutely. Man. Absolutely.
Man. Hey, man.
Hey, more to come.
Oh, yeah, definitely more to come, man. It's Mikey Manslaughter Facts.
And you already know my name, man. It's the Beige Bomber, the Petty Messiah, your boy Corey Jared in the building.
Once again, it's your boy Zello Smoke.
And always remember, don't watch me, watch Dynamite TV. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Hey, man.
Dynamite in the building.
Hey, man, when you down with the PWO, man, you're down for life.